Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. You become better for not only you, but the people you love and care about most. You gotta be a little uncomfortable and take that leap of faith. You're in control of the process. I'm here with you. If we don't continue to grow, if we don't continue to move on, we will be sad and upset. And we have a really fun episode this morning. We're going to be talking a little bit about one of the better philosophers that we have had the chance to learn from, to try and understand from Chinese dynasty around 551 BC, before Christ. Confucius was born, a Chinese philosopher by trade and a teacher. His ability to publicly govern and to support individuals, incredible. A great guy. And so one of his quotes that I absolutely loved and adored, I thought I would share on here today, and we'll kind of expand on the bits and pieces of the quote to kind of see if we can learn something, to see if we can apply something, and see if we can get closer to, are we getting closer or further away from our goals? Are we getting closer or further away? So these are the questions we need to be consistently asking ourselves when we're making our plan. What is the plan for today? What are we going to be doing to try to improve ourselves, to try to get better? So I thought I'd bring a simple little quote, explain what it means to me. You try and interpret it, what it means to you, and see where that applies in your own life to help make you a better you. That is the whole point of this show. Good morning. Good morning. The quote that we are talking about today is, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. I personally, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to rip through my interpretation of it, and then hopefully that can be helpful for you guys when you're trying to interpret it. But I wouldn't get too caught up on like, oh, so he's saying that I listen to my podcasts versus if I see and I read something, I'm going to remember it way better if I read or if I hear something. I wouldn't get too tripped up on that versus the meat and potatoes of this quote. And the last part, the most beautiful part of them all, I do and I understand. I do and I understand. So we can be hearing things, we can be listening to our podcasts, we can be reading books, but when it comes to true learning and taking action, if we want the most depth possible when it comes to making dramatic, true, real change in our lives, it would come down to taking action. I do and I understand. I want you to think of sports that you used to play as a kid. I want you to think of you getting out there, whether it's swimming or whether it's some other type of activity. Maybe you're a gardener or something that involves you being immersed in something, working with your hands, getting down there in the nitty-gritty and just doing it. Did you learn at a faster pace? So the point of this morning's show is really just a short summary on how we can learn in an effective manner by taking action on what it is that we want to do. So what is your number one goal? I would like to ask, is it to lose 10 pounds? Is it to maybe read more books? Maybe it's to go back to class, to go get another degree. Maybe it's to blow up your business, to increase your revenue by a 2x, 3x, 4x, or maybe you would like to learn a new language. Whatever it would be, thinking of how we can embody this last piece of this quote, I do and I understand. Where can you take action to immerse yourself to get closer? Because, right, we're always talking about getting either closer or further away from our goals. And we always want to be getting closer. So what action steps can we take today in order to get closer to the goal that we have set for tomorrow? It could be something very small. If you've been having a hard time taking action as of late, there's usually something in the way, some shape, form, something holding us back. It could be a limiting of belief, it could be a false narrative, it could be a trauma. Any of these are all things that I have ran into, literally running into the wall of inaction, and then sat there, pondered, thought, reflected, coached, mentored, more coaching, until the point that we figure out a real plan to peel back the layers of the onion to give me a real reason of why I'm not doing what it is that I want to be doing. If you need help and support on this for your journey, you talk to Tanner, set up a meeting with me. We can do a free initial consultation. We also have courses and private sessions that can help you get closer to your number one goals. If you're looking to get closer and not further away from your number one goal today. But really, we want to try and think and get creative on what it is that we can take action on. Would it be maybe you just needed a little motivation this morning to get yourself to jump onto your website and improve your website for your business? Maybe you just needed a little extra support, guidance, accountability to make a few extra sales calls to try and get some new clients for your company. Or maybe you just needed that little pep in your step to try and figure out that next big idea. What is going to be the horse? What is going to be the vehicle that's going to get you to your number one goals? Do you want to make a certain amount of money? Do you want to have a six pack? Ask yourself these questions. What do you really want, desire? And then maybe we can peel back and go backwards, reverse engineering on the steps that are going to absolutely be necessary for us to get closer to our goal. Not being scared to break it down here, but it's so easy to get tripped up in. The first two pieces make me think in this quote, make me just think about social media, just make me think about my cell phone. Like I'm hearing great stuff on my phone all the time. I'm seeing great stuff on my phone all the time. But am I actually doing anything about it, or am I actually changing my life? And I would say in a lot of cases, it's actually making it worse. I don't want you to not learn, but if we learn too much and we don't take enough action to follow suit, there's this like gap between our knowledge. There's this gap between our knowledge and our action base. And that gap feels empty. It feels like anxiety. It feels like negative emotion. And as you can see, when we take more action and we get closer to our knowledge threshold, there's less of a gap. And I think we get to feel on this back end side the gains that we're making in our life, the progress that we get to see in our life. And we feel a lot of positive emotion. I feel a lot of joy. I feel a lot of excitement. I get all riled up being able to see the reality of my life changing in a positive direction. So let me ask you this. What would be more motivating to you? The fact that you actually lost 5 pounds, or that you read about how to lose 20 pounds? What would give you more confidence? What would give you more joy? And I will always argue that taking the action and closing the gap between our action threshold and our knowledge base, we live in the information age, right? That you've probably heard this, read this in books, read this on journals, had teachers tell you this, or just casual conversation. But we're in the information age. We're drowning in knowledge. We're drowning in information. We're starving for wisdom. We're starving for the right actions and be supported and held accountable. Where's your accountability to take the actions that you want? Are you just doing it by yourself? Is that working? I tried doing so much on my own, and I couldn't help but all the time I was just getting riled up, overwhelmed, overbearing. I couldn't even take, and then I'd quit all the time. There'd be an idea, I'd work on it, and be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm overwhelmed. Boom, I'm done. And so I want to ask, who is holding you accountable? You can you can join an organization. You can join some local organization. You can get a mentor, someone who works in the industry that you work, and see if you can trade your time. You can trade your time for their knowledge, or you can get a coach, which I think is absolutely landslide the best option that we have available. Is you get a coach to support you in your corner that's working on your problems, It's helping you understand your resources and solve those problems so we can, again, get closer with the action threshold to lower that gap between where our knowledge base is at and the things that we're taking action on our lives. Because to know every single little detail about diet and nutrition and then being 300 pounds, that's just going to make you feel like shit anyway. It actually makes you feel worse because you know what you're doing wrong, but you feel helpless. You feel helpless in the fact that you're not working towards what it is that you want to be doing. So be very careful. We're trying to raise our self-awareness, raise our understanding that learning is absolutely necessary. And there's tons of different forms of learning, whether we're watching stuff on YouTube University. I like to try to read a lot. I think it makes me sharper and improve my vocabulary, improve like my perspective, my empathy, and all that. There's a bunch of stuff. I need to do a show on reading because I absolutely love it. But also we got to understand that we're not using these for coping to avoid taking the actions. Because I think it's good to start off with learning, but if we don't have the action following suit and our gap becomes too big, then the negative emotions are going to cause us to want to run away to some of our comforts, run away to whether it's nicotine or drinking or smoking pot or whatever your vice is, whatever you go to. Maybe you just mindlessly scroll on social media. We all have our vices. And when we continue to feel bad about the gaps that we're creating in our lives between the actions we're taking and the knowledge base that we're building, if that gap continues to increase, then we can continue to lean into our coping mechanisms so we avoid the pain of having to lean into something and try and figure out what the hell is really going on. Say, for example, with me, I get really overwhelmed with things that I don't really know, I don't understand, and I feel confused. And this feeling has been in me since I was a kid. I felt very confused. I had a weird situation with like my dad, my stepmom, and like their household and kind of their friends that they were having over. And I've felt that feeling throughout. I've talked about this on the show, and I'll talk about it a lot because it's been one of the more powerful experiences in my life. But just kind of investigating that and seeing that, I was like, oh, whenever I feel this feeling in my chest, it makes me want to run away. And it makes me want to run to something that was comfort. When I was a kid, it was a lot more about eating like sugary snacks or just running around and being distracted, playing video games with my friends, something very numbing that would take the pain away, versus that doesn't serve me anymore. That's not going to help. Playing video games and eating sugar is not going to help me get closer to my goals. It's actually killing me, and it's not a survival tool that's necessary anymore. And once I was able to peel back the layers on that and kind of just be with the feeling, so you're going to take action on this to wrap all of this up to get us a little closer to our goals. Next time you want to do something, don't hesitate. You don't even need to write it down. Just do it. Set the timer on your phone, on your cell phone, or set the timer somewhere. Maybe you have an Alexa in your house or maybe whatever. There's pieces of technology to help remind us. And then you commit to that 17 minutes a day, because if we do something for 17 minutes a day for an entire year, we can rack up 100 hours and become dramatically more closer to our goals. Remember, getting closer to our goals. So maybe you're just setting the timer, you're picking it. And if you don't take action, you can do the Jerry Seinfeld method where it's like, okay, I'm just not going to do anything else. I'm going to go organize. I'm going to go sit in this room for 20 minutes. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to go eat something. I'm not going to go leave to go distracted. I'm not going to play video games, whatever our vices would be. And we're just going to see what comes up. We're going to see if any feelings come up. We're going to see if any emotions come up. And don't be scared to lean into this stuff. And you need help. And if you need help, support, and a guide on this, talk to Tanner. I'm always here to support you with this, because really we want to just reduce the friction. We want to reduce the friction as much as possible of doing the things that we know we need to do today. So let's get going this morning. Let's have a great day. Let's pick one thing that we can work on, that we can get a little closer to with our number one goal. Maybe it's being a video editor and growing your business. Maybe it's like you have a dog grooming business and you want to take on more clients, or you want to take on less clients, or you want to get organized, or say if maybe you want to lose weight and you need to work out. Whatever it is, these are opportunities to lean in and learn more about yourself. But at the end of the day, when it comes to true learning, taking action, there's no better part of this, because remember, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. And we want to be able to understand ourselves so we can better understand other people, so we can help ourselves, we can help other people, and we can make the world a better place. Thanks for checking out our content. If you want to learn more about investing in yourselves and working with me and our company personally, we offer a 6-week Total Life Mastery Bootcamp where we go over the most important topics to make sure that our life has the foundation we need to catapult us forward, to take the right and proper actions, to become happier and more productive, guaranteed, or our money back.